Are you still wholesaling houses in 2021? Then you need to stop because this is killing your returns. I'm going to show you how wholetailing houses is actually going to increase your returns tremendously in 2021. But there is a catch. Not everyone can actually do this. In this episode, I am going to show you not just why wholetailing is so much better than wholesaling right now, but how to do it and who will be the people that can and cannot do wholetailing. With that being said, let's go. I'm your host, John Barbera, with an investor's journey, bringing you the freshest tips and strategies without the fluff to help you invest in real estate the right way. In this channel, we share our personal lessons learned as full-time real estate investors, like this video right here. So if you find any of this information valuable, make sure you hit that like button. Wanted to cover some quick announcements of big things that are coming down this year for an investor's journey. So just pay attention because this will help you. We are bringing back season 2 of Tips from the Pros. This is a segment with local professionals that are going to be sharing everything that's working for them in this market right now, step by step. The conversation is going to be live, so you can jump on and ask them questions if things are not clear, and they will dig down deeper until you understand it. So make sure you pay attention to that. We'll also do Coffee with the Johns every Friday morning, 8 a.m. Texas time, from 8 to about 10 a.m. And what we do is we actually see all the trends, all the headlines are hitting the economy right now, policies, anything like that, that's going to affect your real estate business. And this is how we see trends develop on how we end up shifting the way we invest. And where this strategy actually came from has been from all the trends that we see developing. It's why we believe in wholesaling being so much more profitable this year specifically. And like always, if you go into our YouTube channel, An Investor's Journey, and you hit on playlists, you're going to be able to see playlists that we've curated on specific topics that you may want to learn, whether it's wholesaling, flipping, rehabbing, buy and hold, private money lending, whatever it is. We've actually curated playlists so you don't have to skim through the whole thing. You can actually hit targeted points on what it is that you want to learn. So if you don't want to miss any of these videos, anything like this, you got to hit that bell notification below the video. It's going to notify you every time we drop a new video, because as things change so fast right now in 2021, things are changing so fast. You want to make sure you are ahead of the ball and not behind. You understand? You don't want to be catching up to everybody that's already monetizing on all these strategies, because it's going to be that much harder. So hit that bell, get notified every time we drop a new video. Like always, all the links that I mentioned throughout the video of sources, videos, whatever it is, it's going to be below in the description. So make sure after the show or during the show, check out the descriptions for those links for the added resources and bonuses and everything that we're going to be including. So like I said in the beginning, we're going to be covering why wholesaling is going to be so much profitable than wholesaling. You got to understand the reasoning behind this so you can develop trends on your own, how to do it correctly, how to implement the strategies to actually make money, and who is it that actually cannot do this strategy. There are people that will not be able to do this strategy, and how they can make themselves able to do this strategy. So make sure you stick all the way to the end, because at the end I'm actually going to share with you a very powerful tip on how to make sure that you are always choosing the best offer when you are wholesaling or even wholesaling a property, that you're always choosing the best offer. There's a very interesting dynamic with this, and I want to make sure you're always monetizing, always doing the best decision possible, and investing in real estate the right way. So make sure you stick to the end as I share with you that powerful tip. So first, I actually wanted to cover who is it that can't wholesale, why they can't wholesale, and how they can make changes to the way their business runs and everything, so they can take advantage of this amazing opportunity that's coming up. So there are actually 2 big reasons why you won't be able to actually use this strategy of wholesaling houses. One is you need to be able to list this property on the MLS, on the market. This means that you need to have a real estate license to do so. Now, you can do what I've done and you partner with somebody that has a real estate license, right? But you need somebody that has a real estate license. So if you don't, consider getting one. And if you don't want to, consider finding somebody that does have theirs so you can list these properties, because that is exactly what you need to do. And reason number two is that you actually need money to buy these houses. You actually need to take ownership of the house, because in order to relist and put on the market, you need to own the property. Now, you need the money to do that. All right. This is not like traditional wholesaling, but hint, hint, this is just between you and me. I actually did a video on how it is that you can raise millions of dollars in private funds right now in order to buy all these properties. So the link is going to be below. I'm going to link it in the cards up here in the video, and check out that video that I did on how to find private money lender. So John, what changed in the market in 2021 for wholesaling to be so much better than wholesaling? Man, you know what? You ask the best questions. You really do. Sometimes I'm astonished with the level of insight that you have to ask so many good questions. So let's cover that. The biggest factor that has happened to the real estate market in 2021 to make wholesaling houses much better than wholesaling houses is low inventory. We have an astonishing number of low inventory that is causing real estate to just go nuts. All right. What does low inventory mean? Precisely that. There are not enough houses for the amount of demand that's in the market at this moment, the amount of buyers that are out there looking to buy real estate. Now, what this low inventory creates is people are actually lowering their expectations on what they want these houses to look like in order to buy them, in order to move into them. So before, when the market was a little more stable, people wanted a house that was fixed up, that met all the qualities, needed to be on this side, that side, whatever it is, right? But when you have such low inventory, it gets to a point where people are like, I just want a freaking house. It's a little dated. That's fine. I'll fix it up. I'll figure it out. How are the contractors? Whatever it is. They're picking up houses left and right. Even the quality of the house doesn't really matter as much, especially when you're in those price points. And we do a market update, real estate market update for Texas and San Antonio. So make sure to check that out. Again, links are below. But in it, we cover like the hot zip codes, months of inventory, and you will be shocked at the market update that's coming out at the end of January, or came out depending on when you're listening to this. The top 10 zip codes in San Antonio are over $200,000, the average price, the median price, and the months of inventory are less than 2 months. Less than 2 months, the top 10 zip codes. That is insane. That means if no new houses hit the market in less than 2 months, there's no more inventory. There are no more houses for sale. You understand? That is what's causing this. We have gone from a seller's market to a seller's market on steroids. All right. This is something that this seller's market right now is insane. So investors, buyers, everybody is on the MLS because it's so difficult right now to find deals and leads and everything like that because of how many investors are in the market. They're buying off the MLS and they're overpaying quite a bit. We have been outbid from properties by over $30,000. And I mean, I agree that real estate over time makes money, but Jesus, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Even if you did the work yourself, like 30 grand, I mean, that was pretty much the profit we were budgeting. So, it's insane the buyers that are out there, but they're on the MLS. You understand? These people that are overpaying and they're doing all this crazy shit, they're on the MLS. So you might still not maybe understand this fully, and you're probably saying, all right, John, but okay, I get it. Why is this better than wholesaling? All right, you know what? You keep asking good questions, and I'm going to keep answering them. Let's see why. The reason wholesaling is so much better than wholesaling is because with such a large buyer demand, all going on the MLS, you can get 10 times more offers. You can get a bidding war. You can get access to retail buyers, people that are not investors. They're looking to pick up a house and they're willing to put in work because they're willing to live in the house and put in the work, and they're not scared about that. And these people are probably paying substantially more than your wholesalers are. So you putting your house on the market, I mean, it's nuts, the offers that you are going to get for that house because of the low inventory. But now, and we're going to cover how to do this because there's going to be market analysis that you need to do to make sure you price it correctly. Also, another perk of wholesaling is the majority of the people that are going to be coming to you with submitting offers and all this are going to be actual buyers or investors, not wholesalers. Not many wholesalers are going to be trying to lock up your house under contract and then re-wholesale it. You understand? Because you're already pretty much selling it at like peak price of what anybody else could pay for it and still make some money on, right? And chances are there are people that are going to offer you money that there's even no more meat left in the bone for them to make any money, but they don't care. So that is another benefit, is that now you don't have to deal with so many, bullshit wholesalers that are going to be wasting your time. So if you're saying to yourself, holy crap, this is some good information, share the love, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up. It helps us out so much. You have no idea how much that matters. And we put a lot of time into all these videos. Not that I'm trying to guilt you, but if you're finding value and you're being entertained and you're enjoying this, just hit that like button. It really helps out. So the big question, how is it that you do this? All right, let's get into this. We're going to get into the details on how specifically you wholesale houses. So you are generating leads like you typically would on any regular wholesale, on anything that you typically would to generate a lead. You're still doing the same type of marketing. You're still looking for a distressed situation, all right? You're looking for a property that's somehow distressed. Either the seller's distressed or the home is distressed. You need something that's distressed, and you still need to get it below market value and all of this. And yes, even if the house looks like complete dog doo-doo, you can still list it on the MLS, all right? Even if it's a tear down, you can list it on the MLS because that's how hot the market is right now. We'll also be doing shortly a video on how it is that you can market when you're in a market with very unmotivated sellers. So we're going to show you some strategies on what it is that you can do to market to sellers that are not so motivated and still get deals done. Because that's where we are right now. Sellers can just put properties on the market and they'll sell. They don't need you anymore. But there's ways of negotiating, ways of marketing that we've implemented that work, and we're going to be sharing those with you. So make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss that video. The only difference now with wholesaling is that now you are the buyer. All right? You are the buyer. You're not just a wholesaler. You're not just getting it under contract and assigning the contract. You're the buyer. So you need to be able to buy the house. You need to still close on this deal. This is why, like I said, you need cash or access to cash to be able to buy these properties. Now, look, I'm going to hit on a very serious subject right now, and I need you to pay attention. No joking, no kidding. You really need to pay attention to this part. Wholesaling is very risky, all right? You need to be very, very careful. It's much riskier than wholesaling. It's as risky as flipping houses. Because, like I said before, you are actually buying the house. You're buying the house, so you can't just do what a lot of wholesalers are doing, a lot of the shitty wholesalers, that they're just getting any property under contract, whether it makes sense or not, because they'll wholesale it to, some stupid investor somewhere else, and that's it. What you got to be careful here is that you actually have to put up the capital, whether it's yours or it's private funds. You got to buy the house. So you own it now. And if you didn't negotiate correctly, didn't run your numbers correctly, or whatever it is, and you put it on the market and it doesn't sell, and it doesn't sell for what even you paid for it, that you can at least break even, you're in deep trouble now because you own a property that nobody wants. And if that's the case, you got to figure out, what can I do with this house? Do I need to keep it as a rental? Can I refinance? Can I flip it? You got to figure out you still have an exit strategy. If you were to buy this house and it doesn't sell, can you do something with it? You understand? So you still need to get it at the right price and as a good deal. The point of this is not that you can wholesale garbage, is that you can wholesale for higher fee. but the negotiating side still needs to be on point, and you still need to make sure you're doing a good deal. If you've been one of the good, very few decent wholesalers out there, or even flippers, then the due diligence isn't much different than what you already been doing. In case you haven't, let's kind of go over that real quick. You want to make sure that you get a survey for the property. There's a lot of houses, especially when you have older homes, that you can't just assume that because the house is there and it's been there, that the survey is correct. And that means the layout of the lot, right? What is your property? What is not your property? You got to make sure you have that information with you, because it can cause problems. Because once you put it on the MLS, now the buyers that are coming to you are coming with agents, and maybe they're getting inspections, whatever it is, the level of, not all the time are you going to get like a cash buyer that buys as is, no conditions, no nothing, and just closes. So you want to make sure that you're doing this preliminary stuff and you're running it through title. You want to make sure you run it through title. Does it have clear title? No liens, nothing crazy. They're going to catch up to you and cause you problems. Get title insurance, because again, when you put it on the market and people are doing their due diligence, you don't want to get stuck with a house that has a bunch of problems because you didn't run the right due diligence. Now, you're running comps, all right? Here's the important part here when you're running comps. You want to make sure you're pulling actives, active options, back on market, price change, solds, and pending, all right? Those are the ones that you want to make sure you're selecting when you are running this and when you're running your comps. Now, besides running your standard comps as far as, ARV and rents, because like I said, in case you happen to get stuck with it, you need an out, right? There still needs to be a strategy to this deal. So besides doing that, what you want to do is run similar comps on the how the condition of this house is right now. So you want to actually look at what are houses that have sold that look just like yours, right? Yours is dated, distressed, really, it needs to be torn down, whatever it is. You want to see what those houses are selling for. What are people asking for them right now? Now, why is this important? Is because what people are asking is what your competition is going to be when you buy this house and put it back on the MLS. So when you're looking at active options, back on market, price changes, you want to see what they're being priced at. And you want to see, are they selling? Are they selling fast? And what's going to give you this is days on market. Days on market is going to tell you how fast those houses are selling. And if they're not selling that fast, it could mean one, they're overpriced, or two, it could be that maybe that's just not such a hot area that people are interested in buying houses. You want to understand this because the longer a house takes to sell, the more it's going to cost you in holding costs, money costs, all of these things. So you want to gauge that. You want to understand how long are these houses taking to sell. And then when you're pulling up comps, what you want to make sure is that, especially for the solds one, is it's not enough that they're sold, but what did they sell for? Were there any concessions? What was the financing? Was it FHA? Was it conventional? Was it cash? Because it gives you an idea of who your buyer pool in that area is going to be. And then based on the ones that are active and all this, you want to look at how can you beat that price? Is your house maybe have more square footage? Does it have some features that these don't that makes it better? Or are you going to have to price it a little bit more competitively so yours stands out above everybody else? Because again, just because everybody's listing at this price doesn't mean you want to list, because you don't want to be at the same level as everybody else. And it takes that much longer for you to sell because it's apples to apples. So then, there's really no reason yours stands out. That leads me to, you want to price for speed, not profit. All right. You want to price the house so it sells fast. You don't want these houses to be sitting on the market for too long, because again, depending on your strategy, you may not want to take these houses and flip them and actually renovate them or keep them as rentals. You may not want to do that. And if you don't want to do that, then you have to price it right so it's competitive. And keep in mind, in a really hot market, there could be a bidding war where you price it low enough and people just keep bidding up the prices more and more and more because they really want the houses, right? So you rather have that situation than list too high just because you want more money and then it just sits. and then you do a price drop and then a price drop. Those things, price drops don't work well. People don't like them. And investors, they're like sharks. They see that and they think there's blood in the water, that you screwed up and you're hurting for money. And that may be true, but you never want to show that. Now, like you keep asking so many great questions, you're probably asking, hey, what if I have to do I need to do any work to these houses? Do I need to renovate them in any way? Do anything to them? And like everything, your questions are amazing. So let's cover that. So depending on the house, you may want to spend a little money on it. If you buy a house that maybe was a hoarder house, right? And there's a ton of crap in there. Maybe you might want to spend a little money or time with some buddies or whatever and clear it out, clean it out. Just leave it as a vacant house. You understand? As a nice, clean, empty house. The reason for those things is that you want to show people that, like, the potential of the house, and you don't know who your buyer is going to be. You don't know if it is going to be an investor or if it's going to be a retail buyer. But if it's a retail buyer and they come in and they see all the stuff in there, they imagine that the work is going to be substantially higher. So maybe you just simply cleaning the house out is enough, right? You just getting all the garbage, cleaning all that, maybe mowing the lawn, just little simple things like that could mean the world of difference when you're listing this property. And make sure, and I'm putting the link in the description, that you check out the video that we did of making $40,000 in less than a week using this exact strategy. We bought a house. We actually did a little bit of work, and in the video, we explain why we did that work, and we put it in the market Friday morning, Friday afternoon, sold. We made 40 grand in less than a week. You understand? This strategy is a killer strategy, and you got to know what you're doing, but it really generates some good revenue. And like I said, if you're just looking at this, you're like, holy crap, I'm over here, John. I'm taking notes. This thing is so valuable. I'm going to implement this strategy as soon as possible. Then just share the love a little bit. Hit that like button, just give us a little love, a little support. It matters. It means a lot. It matters to us. It shows us that the work we're putting in is valuable to you. You understand? So just hit that like button. It takes all of like a split second for you to do it. And it means everything to me. I sleep so happy and I have very nice dreams because you did. So the bonus tip that I told you at the beginning, and this is on how to accept the right offer for the house that you just listed. And this, again, like it even works for wholesaling properties. You always want to take the best offer, not necessarily the highest. There's been plenty of times that we've actually turned away the highest because they didn't hit some of these points I'm going to cover here. And it could actually cause more problems and cost you more money later. So you want to make sure you're taking the best offer, not necessarily the highest. And the things that you want to watch out for is you want to make sure that the person submitting the offer can actually close. Now, I know this seems very simple and everything like that, but you'd be surprised. Just because somebody can submit an offer doesn't mean that they can actually follow through. So what we recommend, especially on the MLS, and this is very standard, is you request a proof of funds. You want whoever submits an offer to submit a proof of funds, that they have the funds to actually buy this property. You want that, okay? You want to know that they can actually buy it. And when they submit a contract, you want to make sure that they don't submit any of that BS of and or signs, okay? Even if they tell you, well, no, the thing is that I'm going to buy it here and then I'm going to, I might switch it to one of my corporations, then contract it under one of your corporations. You understand? Because that and or signs may mean that they're a wholesaler and now they're trying to waste your time until they can find somebody else that pays even more. All right. So make sure those things are not in the contracts and make sure that they come with a proof of funds. And usually what this is going to do is it's going to weed out all of the wholesalers and all the bullshitters that are out there right now, especially on the MLS, submitting offers and doing all this. This is kind of going to weed that out because it's going to add another barrier to of entry for these people to actually submit an offer. And it's going to make it much easier for you to be able to do. The option periods, when they submit an offer and they ask for an option period, you want them to be as low as possible. Really no more than like 7 to 10 days. And if you're in a really hot market and you see demand is through the roof, you're pulling comps and these houses and those conditions are selling in like 5 days or whatever, then you either don't give any option or you give them less than a 5-day option period. You understand? Because they went to the house, they've seen it, and a good investor should know what the hell they have in their hands. So you may want to give an option, you may not, but you want to make sure you keep it short, because in case they decide to back out, they're not killing your time of this house sitting on the market. And for that option period, you want to ask for some money. Depending on the market, the city, whatever you're in, it could be anywhere from $10 a day to $100 a day, whatever it may be for the amount of option period. But you want to ask them for some money. And then you want to make sure you ask for earnest money of a substantial amount, some earnest money that, actually is a decent amount to make sure that it keeps them accountable to wanting to buy and not just bullshit you and waste your time. Because this is, again, when you're in a hot market, wholesalers start struggling, investors start struggling. So they'll start doing a lot of crazy stuff, and you don't want them wasting your time and chewing up your days and everything, because it's going to end up hurting your profit. You understand? So you want to make sure these houses move quick. Remember, it's speed over profit. So you want to have all these things in place, so this way you make sure you are limiting the chances of a bad buyer coming and wasting your time. Now, we talked about this. We talked about this quite a bit. So make sure you check out this video up here on how to find private money. It's the strategies that we've used, how we've raised millions of dollars. It works. And then there's more training right here. And if you found value here, just share it with somebody that's going to help. Spread the love, spread the knowledge, and I'll catch you on the next one.